Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the next video here in this 84-part series. In this video I'm going to talk about my experience with the dead. I briefly touched upon this in a previous video about my experience with the deceased person in Burma, which I'm going to share that story with you. This is a true story. This actually happened to me. And it's a very eye-opening and remarkable story. So keep your eyes open and keep an open mind if you don't have any experiences like this in your life, or if you don't believe in these types of things. So just keep an open mind. This was in 2018. Okay, I'm going to take you back in time. I was traveling Southeast Asia. I had just visited Thailand, and then I went to Burma. And I stayed in Burma in a forest monastery, Paok Sayadaw Forest Monastery, the English-speaking monastery there, in the south. And so I'm there, and it's been a few days since I was there. I was meditating, and I was fortunate enough to meet a English-speaking monk, which kind of saved me from a lot of trouble. I didn't have any friends there, and I was struggling. But he came to talk to me, and I was very surprised that he spoke English, and he introduced me to 3 other monks that spoke English. They were from India. So one day, all 5 of us decided to walk up this mountain, or this hill, I should say. It was nighttime, just like as it is now. And we walked up this mountain, and this mountain was paved, or it was excavated, because they were planning to build some kind of houses there. But it was a pretty big sized land, and you could see the entire surroundings, all of Burma, or at least the parts that we were there. It was very rural, so there wasn't any cities. But like I said, you could see through entire 360 field of vision. And there wasn't anything built, and there was no one close to us. The last house that we went past was maybe 5 minutes walk. So we were sitting there. There was a beautiful night sky. I was surprised by how clear the sky was. Actually, my friend told me to look at the sky, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And he said, no, just wait a few minutes and your eyes will adjust. And I thought, what? I never heard that before. And like he said, a few minutes had gone past, and I looked up at the night sky again, and wow, there was a billion more stars that I could see than there previously were. And that was a very powerful experience. So anyways, I'm now currently, this is in Burma. I sat down on a rock. I sat down by myself, just like as I'm sitting down now. And my friends were maybe 15 to 20 meters away from me, on my right side. And they were sitting on a towel and just talking amongst themselves. But I decided to stay in and meditate on this rock. And so I closed my eyes and I began to meditate. And I could feel something touching me. And I opened my eyes and I looked to the left of me. And maybe 5 meters away from my physical body, at the bottom of this little indentation that they carved out, there was energy moving. I could see there's energy moving there. There's something going on there. There's something happening. Some creature, spiritual being, something. But I couldn't pinpoint, okay, this is what it is. I just had an intuition, like, okay, there's something happening there. And it wasn't like it was nature. It was just total empty land. So I couldn't have mistaked it for an animal or anything like that. But I kind of hesitated or judged myself. I thought to myself, oh man, you don't want to say that to anyone. It's crazy. There's no such thing or whatever. Just forget about it. Let it leave your mind. Some things like this usually happen to you, so just don't pay any attention. And so I couldn't help but to feel scared of that, whatever that was, because I could feel that it was somehow close to me, and it was actually a physical thing. But regardless, I closed my eyes again and I started to meditate. A few seconds had gone by. Now this is me talking. This person, this dead person, had walked from that place. This is a spiritual body, it's not a physical thing. He came to my right side here and he whispered in my ear. When he did that, I was overfilled with terror. I have never experienced terror like that in my life, because what I had just previously anticipated, like, okay, that's something's happening there. What is that? Is that a dead person or is that a spirit? I don't know. But my logical mind, he said, forget about it. And now this is actually happening. This is an actual physical thing. And I had never encountered this, at least not in this level. This person had whispered, he exhaled with a sound. That's what he did. And that scared me so badly, because here I am thinking that I'm all alone. Not only in the micro sense, but in the macro sense, thinking that I'm, this human being and I'm experiencing life by myself and there are no spirits or ghosts or anything like that. But that's not the case, and that just shattered all of those beliefs instantly. The first thing I did was scream to my friends, hey, you need to come over here. Because I didn't want to feel alone. I don't know what this thing was going to do, if it was going to kill me or possess me, I don't know. So that's the first thing I did. Hey, come over here. And they rushed over here. I explained to them what happened. And we all stood in a circle. And we sent this being loving kindness, metta. Within a minute had gone by. And I could visually see with my inner mind's eye, this being had gathered enough light and he could no longer be housed in the physical plane. And he was... he vanished up into space. He was teleported, or he was pulled. Teleported is more accurate. And wherever he went to the judging place, or he went to the processing plant, or the whatever other thing that is after this after a being dies and they're still stuck in their astral form or whatever form. They went to that sorting facility, and it was a good thing. It was beneficial. Something that I didn't mention is that the second that this person exhaled or made the sound with his breath, that energy traveled into me, and I could decode everything that he was saying. He didn't say any words. He couldn't say any words. But he shared with me his whole life experience in just one sound. That's what it was. I could decode it within my own physical body. Within a half of a second or a microsecond, I could instantly tell that this is a man. This is a Burmese man. He was living in Burma as a native Burmese to the country. And he was traveling in a car. He was driving a car. He was driving himself somewhere. And he got into a very terrible car crash. Instantaneous death. I mean, the destruction of the physical body was instant. And in that sort of condition, if you are living life in a confused way, you are not going to untangle yourself from that in death, especially when death comes at you like that. So the physical body just gets destroyed and the spirit leaves naturally as that happens. And he was kind of stuck in this halfway point. He's still in the physical dimension, but he's not in a physical body. And he's walking around and he is in terror and he's in a lot of pain, because naturally it's a painful way to be. But this is all I could, again, I'm still perceiving, I'm decoding this within a half of a second of him, making this sound to me. But he could gather himself to walk to the monastery. Physically, he walked to the monastery in his energy body, because that is a huge source of light. I could see that this monastery is a huge source of light, and those beings are attracted to this place. And he was asking for help. He came here for help. Unfortunately, the monks there were not able to help him. I don't know whether that be lack of accomplishment or lack of mastery or skill, whatever it is. They couldn't, and he came to me. I'm going to add something here. So just a few days prior to this experience that I'm telling you about, I was sitting in my friend's dorm room. They have dorms there, and I could feel something walking outside the room. No, I'm sorry. This actually happened afterwards. I'm gonna share that experience after I finish this. So he communicated that all to me, and he essentially is asking for help. So I understood all that message, and at the same time I'm screaming to my friends, hey, come over here, come over here. I can't deal with me being alone. I can't deal with this experience by myself. So they came, and like I said, we gathered around in a circle, we sent this guy energy, and he, boom, vanished in space. That's it. That's the whole story. A few moments had gone by, and something else started happening. Someone started making sounds like way in the distance. It sounded like an old man was grunting or like sleeping heavily. And as that was happening, I'm like, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't pay attention to it because that's what I thought. There was an old man grunting. There are lots of old monks and that lived close to the vicinity that we're at. And I'm sitting there and I'm beaming with energy because something so profound just happened to me, and I can't believe this. And I could actually see everything that I saw, and we're all standing there in silence, and we're thinking to ourselves, and all of us, we shared this experience. It's not like they also understood what was happening because this could be felt. And we're all sitting there in disbelief. And finally, one of the monks, the most senior monk, he says, do you guys hear that? And we all start to turn our attention towards the sound that's coming from way over there. And we walk closer to the sound, and we realize that sound is coming from the marsh, from the bog, from the place where frogs go. And it's wetland, and there are trees. I mean, it's open wetland. So it's not like there's a man there, but the sound is coming from there. This man is making these grunts from there. And this monk understands this is another one of these beings. In the Buddhist tradition, this is a very common occurrence. It's very common knowledge that when a person dies and doesn't die in a most favorable way, they return as a hungry ghost, is what the Buddha called it. Is a person that no longer has the physical body, but they're still encapsulated in this their energy form. And they're wandering the earth trying to find something to satisfy themselves because of their lack of understanding in their human birth. So this man is grunting, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is fascinating. I wasn't as profoundly impacted by that experience as is happening now, the man grunting, as what just happened to me. But I could see that the head monk is going through some kind of internal process, and he's understanding what is happening. And he is seeing that, and he starts verbalizing this, that this man is in a great deal of pain. And he's also, that's the only thing that he can muster. It takes all of his energy to make that sound. And I think to myself, wow, that's a profound state of existence. But we should do exactly what we just did to this person. And so we all stand facing that direction, and we extend our hands outwards, and I could feel myself offering loving kindness to this being. And after some time, the energy changes, and we all understand that that was the right thing to do, and also we can't help him any further. And I don't know, I can't experience what he's going through. I don't have any connection with him. But the head monk turns to us and says, we have helped him, but he's still in that state. Well, we did all that we could. Continuing on. So I'm here currently in Cairns, walking through a park. And some trees, because of their lack of oxygen, they tend to naturally attract these types of beings. I've never seen such a thing, but I can feel that this is true. and this knowledge was coming from Sadhguru. He first pointed this out, and I noticed it. So some parks that you go to, you feel a kind of eeriness, especially at nighttime. It's like lack of life. And I'm currently in a park like this. It's not really that intense, it's kind of mild, but in the daytime there's no problem. Whereas at nighttime, yesterday I came here at night, it was very spooky. So continuing on with the rest of my story. My phone battery died, or storage ran out. I'm gonna make an effort to not allow that to happen again. I'm gonna clear that up and prevent that from happening in the future. So right after that happened, we sent loving kindness to this man, this ghost. We left this hilltop, and we went back to where everyone was residing. And I went back to the monk's dorm, the English monk's dorm, and he fell asleep. I don't exactly know why or how, but he ended up falling asleep, and I was just sitting there meditating right next to his bed in his room. And still just in awe and wonderment of what had just occurred, the experience that I just had. I still couldn't believe it. So I was just meditating and doing whatever I needed to do. And a few minutes had gone by, and I felt something walking the hall just outside of our door. And I instantly knew this wasn't a real person. This was one of those things again. This monastery, Phok Sayadaw Monastery, was full of these things. I had never experienced something like this in my entire life, but it was full of these ghosts. And, I've been to various places. Nothing like this even comes close. I don't know why that place was full of these things, and why, for example, in the Western world, I don't really see much of these things, or maybe they don't come in contact with me, or they're not so, their energy body isn't that strong. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure I'll investigate and I'll find out. So anyways, this place was full of these things, and this man was walking the hall, and I got scared again because I don't know the potential of these things. I don't know if he can manifest and chop my head off or kill me or something. So a little nervousness and fear arose in me. I thought about waking up my friend, but I said no. And I tried doing the same thing that I did to those people. And I did whatever I could, but and it alleviated some of his pain, but it wasn't enough. I wasn't strong enough, I wasn't powerful enough at that time. I didn't have enough energy to fully let him, to unshackle him from his state of being. So that was the first time that I remember that I could communicate to these things just like I am with you, with a human being. And now that I'm mentioning this, I remember that he also communicated to me in some type of way. He also whispered, he also made some kind of sound, whatever he could. And then I understood what he was going through, and then I tried to help him, and then I said, finally, look, I can't help you. You need to go away. You need to move on. And he did. Oh, well, I was surprised. Wow. This was also confirmed by the other monks that I was with, the less senior monks that we were all together. They also said they had some types of experiences such as this in their dorm rooms, like they hear someone whispering or they hear someone coughing outside, but there's no one there. And after we all had undergone this experience, all of that made sense. And the youngest monk was very afraid of this. He was shook, because in some traditions, especially in India, these things are seen as evil and very deadly, potentially very deadly, even though that's not true. But especially in Thailand, I remember. This reminds me of a particular story that we saw a cremation, and literally as the body just began burning, every of the villagers left. Like 200 people were just gone, boom. Because it's a tradition that, the ghost leaves and no one wants to be around the ghost. So once that happened, all knew what was going on. And by this time, it was starting to get dark. It was, it was starting to get really late, like 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. midnight and 1 a.m. So I decided I need to go to sleep. But how I'm gonna manage to walk all the way to my little kuti by myself, I don't know, especially in the dark. But I managed it. I entered my room. I lay down on the floor where I slept. We don't have beds there. We slept on the floor. And so I'm laying there, and it's pretty dark, and I'm thinking, wow, this is quite scary. And then all I remember is hearing footsteps, like a cartoon or a caricature, literal footsteps outside my door. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And then I instantly again understood that it's one of these things again, and he's trying to come into my room. And I got really freaked out because it's like, no, I don't want to do that. And luckily, for some reason, the physical barrier of the door stopped him. He couldn't pass through. I don't know why that was, or if that has some kind of intention to it. I don't know. But I remember he tried to get inside, and he couldn't because there's a door there. And then I again did what I could. I sent him loving kindness. And then when I realized that I'm all out, or I can't help him anymore, and I said, man, like, shoo, go away. Get out of here, go away. And he turned around and he went away. And that was it. And that is the end of the story. So, take from this whatever you will. Continue to meditate. Continue to watch these videos. And maybe someday, experiences such as this will come to you. The end.